Ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi o, bàbá ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi. Ìbànújẹ́ ò jẹ́ kó jìnnà sílé mi. Wàá múnú mi dùn, bàbá onílé ayọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀ mi má jẹ́ kó pa mí lẹ́kún. Ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi o, bàbá ṣílẹ̀kùn ayọ̀ mi. Yes, sir. Ìbànújẹ́ ò jẹ́ kó jìnnà sílé wa. Wàá múnú wa dùn, bàbá onílé ayọ̀. Ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀ wa má jẹ́ kó pa wá lẹ́kún. Good morning and welcome to Authentic Conversations with Moji. How are you? We need to wait for a few people to come in. This is a topic that haunts me every day of my life, really. We're talking about weight and weight loss and what makes women and men feel we need to be like tiny and things like that. And then we'll bring in a very good friend of mine that had surgery to lose weight because she was having medical issues and such. But this conversation, I'm telling you, every year for the past 12 years on social media, you will see that I gain weight, I lose weight. I'm always fighting that 20 pounds, 30 pounds thing. Hi, Miriam, I see you. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. This conversation is going to be amazing. I have a special guest on, Jenna Johnson, who's a Facebook friend that I've known for many, many years. And we'll bring her on in a few. So hang in there, share the video for me. If you've never been on my page before, please do me a favor and like the page. But more importantly, follow and subscribe if you're on YouTube so that you can be notified when we go live. All right. So while we're waiting for other people, let me just do the fun stuff that I like. Welcome to Authentic Conversations. So hello again, it's Moji Solo Wilson. And yes, this is Authentic Conversations with Moji. And I thank you so much for joining. If you're here, please say hello so I know who I'm speaking to. It's kind of nice to know that I know people on the thread, right? It's exciting. Anyways, my name is Moji Solo Wilson, and this is Authentic Conversations with Moji. I have Jenna Johnson in the back end. One of the things that I decided to do this year is to have, to do shows that are meaningful to me and other people as well. So I've been getting people write me with questions and things that we should talk about on the show. There's no point just sitting here shooting breeze if we're not going to grow, right? The whole purpose of this show is to have authentic conversations so we all can emerge and grow and live our authentic life, right? So let me bring Janet in. I mean, weight, body image is a topic that everybody can relate to. It's something I've struggled with for many, many years. I used to be a model. I was literally a night size. I think a size 0, which means I did not exist, right? But now I'm like a size 8 and I'm battling. I was about 6 weeks ago, I went on this keto diet thing where I haven't eaten, I'm not supposed to eat any sugar and I'm not supposed to eat any carbs. And if you know me, you know I'm a foodie. It's just crazy. I was very thin until I actually hit the age of 50. For my 49th birthday party, I was skinny. I was a size 8. I was looking really good. And then I think I hit 51 and everything just went crazy. I guess it's because of the stress. My tummy got bigger. And literally I went to the weight I was when I was pregnant with my last son, and that was 185. And I didn't understand it. So I started to do research. And of course, I found out that stress has a lot to do with it. Drinking a lot of water has a lot to do with it. Your mindset has a lot to do with it. And by the way, I'm not saying that people that are big or fat are not sexy. Sexy to me is any size. Like my hair, I always say it's what you like. It's what feeds your soul that you should do. That's what authenticity is about. I wear wigs. I wear weaves. Under this is just bare cornrows. And some days I'm going to show up with just my cornrows. Some days I wear braids. It's my choice. So authenticity is all about doing what feels good to you and doing what feeds your soul. For me, when I got to be about 189 about 7 weeks ago, literally 180. Let me just be truthful, close to 190. Okay, no shame in this game. But I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like my chisel face, and I know it's partly because society tells us that we're supposed to look a certain way. And if you were a model before and you were a size 2, my back started to hurt because I felt like I carried too much weight. And these Onyibo people, they always tell us, look, for me, I'm told I'm supposed to be 130, but if I go down to 130, I'll kind of look like that. So that's not the way to go. So today, let's bring in Janet anyways. Oh, by the way, I must tell you, in 6 weeks, I have lost about probably 13, 14 pounds in 6 weeks. So, but I deprived myself a whole lot of stuff, to be able to get here. So I'm living a totally different lifestyle now than I was before. Now I'm trying to create a system of meals and things that work for me. Meditation, exercise, prayers, all that stuff is part of what I have decided works for Moji. I don't know what works for you. And I'm not sure what you want in your life, but honey, menopause kicked in, Miriam, and oh, Lord have mercy. I no longer had control of my body. Before I could do this and I would lose weight it was just crazy. But I'm grateful that I am here. So let's bring in Janet anyways. Hi, lady, how are you?
Hello.
I'm so glad you chose to do this show because I think your journey will help a lot of people. Let me try and find that picture of you. I think, and then you can give us a quick, yeah, you said you were 314 pounds.
I was 318.
Okay. Do me a favor and introduce yourself first and foremost, and what you do and all that wonderfulness.
Okay. Well, I started off this journey, that's life's journey, shall I say. I was at my highest weight. I was 318 pounds. I ended up, my name is Janet Buford Johnson. And I started off this journey at 318 pounds. And I've had children, I've had life, I've had men, problems. And, it always tends to go straight here to the boobs. Yeah. Or to the stomach or to the butt or just everywhere. So the journey has been really real. I'm also a manager in food and beverage. I've done that for the past 27 years. 4 kids, 175 pounds more than I'm used to having on my body. Later, things got really crazy with my health. And all of a sudden, I'm just like, where am I and how do I get myself out of this? Because no matter what I was doing, I was not able to lose the weight. Yeah. I gained, after my last child, I gained like 75 pounds from that child alone. And it was because I had multiple fibroids, and the fibroids were just there, and I was not able to just get that weight off. And I also had a thyroid situation that I did not know I had at all. And that caused me to gain weight. I had the hypothyroid. So that's the one that makes you heavier. And no matter what I do, if I sneeze, I was like, I'm getting bigger. And then I'm looking at my eyes were budging out of my head. So those things were the factors some of the factors, because there's other issues that came along with that too, that made me go, well, oh God, I got to do something about this. I can't take it.
So when you were 318 pounds, what was your, did you feel sexy? Did you feel beautiful? Were you confident?
I was always confident in myself because I always thought that I looked good no matter what. But it was really a situation where I just didn't feel good about me. Health-wise, I felt terrible. I was on blood pressure medication. I still take blood pressure medication to this day. I think it's hereditary for me, but it's been much more reduced. I developed a heart condition, which I did not have before. I also ended up having a surgery on my foot because my plantar tore. So it's just been a lot of different things going on because I was trying to run at one point. And when I was running, I have flat feet, unfortunately, genetics. And the flat feet ended up being oh man, I had to have emergency surgery. One day I couldn't even stand up. I was in the shower and I looked and I could not stand. I fell in the shower. Wow. So it's like, oh man, this is too much for me. I got to do something about this.
I hear you.
And I hear you.
At my highest, I think the highest I've ever been was 198. And that was about 7 or 8 weeks ago. And for me, that was very scary because every time I sat down to get up, my back would hurt. So I can't even imagine what it felt like for you. And I was always a runner. I couldn't run anymore. Forget it. The weight was it was ridiculous. Then my knees started to hurt. So
Yes.
again, I have to put this disclaimer out there. This is not body shaming. This is about talking about what makes each individual person comfortable in their skin. And authentic conversations, authentic living is what I preach. So whatever makes you happy, because I have a friend that's about 325 pounds. She's about 5'10". And my God, the stuff this woman wears, I would even dare. I mean, literally, she wears shirts that are cut down to, that's what I call confidence. And confidence is what I believe is sexy. You know, so whatever makes people happy is what you should do.
Exactly.
All of you that are big and you're happy with it, we're not here to bash anybody. I just like conversations. So at what point how long ago did you decide to go see a doctor about your weight?
I want to say that happens the original concept came into my head about 2017, 2016. That's when I ended up with the heart condition. And around then I was about 275 pounds. And I was like, I can't do anything. I'm so sick of this. And every time I would go to the doctor, I would be 5 more pounds, 6 more pounds, 7 more pounds. And that was going on for like every month I was in the doctor's office or every 2 weeks. And it was just contingent upon what was going on at that particular time. And it was all about trying to get my heart stabilized. I found out I had tricuspid valve regurgitation, and it was causing over time, it causes your heart to enlarge.
Go back, slow down. Say that word again.
Tricuspid valve regurgitation.
And what does that do? What does that?
Over time, it causes your heart to enlarge.
Oh, and wow.
It also causes you to be tired all the time and sluggish. It was just some weird stuff going on to me that never happened to me in my life. So I was just like, oh my God. When I got on the scale, I was like so embarrassed. And I'm like, I noticed my clothes were fitting me funny. And I was like, oh, this is too tight. I'm not used to being this heavy. I just don't know what else to do. Because I've done so many diets, so many different things. The way to come off, but to come right back.
Let me tell you, if you want to talk about diet, I'm the diet queen. I mean, the only thing that has worked for me, and I can't even say has worked for me, because what usually happens is I'll lose 10, 15 pounds and I'll be all excited, post it on, so you see that, post it on Facebook, and within like a month, I've gained the weight plus more.
A couple more pounds.
Right? It's a lifestyle change that has to happen. And what I realize, my skin is so much better now. I eat more and I drink more water. I'm not eating as much carbs. I haven't had carbs in a really, really long time. I've been doing eggplant all my life. So we're Nigerians. I
love eggplant. Yeah. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I've been doing all these vegetable meals and cabbage, rice. The only thing I can do is pasta. So I'm not. It's like my brain just cannot wrap around that. But so you had all these health issues, and then you decided to go see a doctor about getting what is the procedure that you got again?
It's called the gastric vertical sleeve. And basically, the gastric sleeve, a lot of people call it VSG for short. That's the acronym for it. But in the interim, I went to see a doctor. I couldn't find anybody in Orlando that would accept my insurance that I could get it done for. So I ended up going to Shands Hospital in Gainesville, Florida, because I live in Orlando, so which is like 90 minutes away. So I went over there. I met with the doctor. It took me 2 months to get the appointment now, 2 months. Wow. So I went to the doctor, and what began was a process. I had to have all my doctors on board to get this done. I had to have so many different tests, so many psychological tests too, because they want to make sure you're not cuckoo. I'm a little bit though. That you're not insane, or you have some latent issue that you're going to go ballistic because you can't eat certain things. So, and it's also a mental thing. It's very sincerely, it's a mental thing. But I went through the whole process, making sure the heart was going to be okay with it. Okay, make sure your stomach is going to be okay. You got to make sure that every single thing is checked. So I was a candidate. I did the workup. It took me 9 months to get every single thing and get the approval to go ahead from the insurance to go ahead and get surgery.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in the meantime, I gained 15 more pounds before I actually, by my because I'm 51 now, by my 48th birthday. No, 49th birthday. Yeah.
Is there a minimum weight that you have to be to get the surgery?
You have to be at least 40 BMI.
Okay, 40% above your body.
A 40 BMI. I had gotten so heavy, I exceeded that amount. I was at a 48 BMI when I began this process.
Wow.
So you do have to have do a keto type thing. I went on a real serious keto type thing immediately after I got onto when I saw how much I weighed when I went to the hospital, because I had to go to the hospital on my birthday because my blood pressure started just spiking and going crazy, and I couldn't do anything. And then my thyroid medication, my endocrinologist was basically gone. She was not in Orlando anymore. She moved to Texas. So I was like, she was the one who could help me get this weight off of me. So I'm like, it's got to be my thyroid. Oh, you can lose weight if you're at a 4.6. It's no big deal. That's still in a high normal, but it's normal. That's not normal for this thyroid problem, sir. I know my body. I need my medication to be adjusted. And he wouldn't do it. So, I started playing with it myself.
Wait, I need you to slow down so people understand the process here. So you had to be 40 BMI. You had to have 40 BMI, which is your body weight versus fat or something like that, right? And one of my favorite shows is My 600 Pound Life, because it just keeps me in check.
Ooh. Yeah, it keeps me in check too.
I watched the show yesterday, and the guy was 1,000 pounds. They had to knock down the wall to get him out. And for me, as a person that's always been thin and then hit as menopause kicks in and all that, I'm trying to get my head around, high blood pressure. Because I remember when I went to the doctors this year for my checkup, they told me I had to lose weight because my blood pressure was kind of teetering on the edge and a few other things. Again, I have to put a disclaimer. There's a lot of bigger women and men that do not have health issues when they are big. So we're not body shaming here. This is not about body shaming anybody. I'm not preaching anybody should lose weight. I'm saying that there are options for everybody, and it's up to you what you decide to do. Surgery is not an option for me because I'm too afraid to go to sleep and not come back. Or else, honey, I would have done everything: my tummy, my thighs, my legs. It's just not that kind of
I'm there with you. I understand. I'm there.
You had medical issues. You had high blood pressure. You had heart issues. You had a thyroid problem, and a lot of it, I assume, stemmed from your weight gain. So you went to the doctors. Was the surgery very difficult?
No, actually, it wasn't as bad, but it's nothing easy. I mean, the process of the surgery, I didn't have any complications day of. I didn't have any complications day, the first 4 weeks. The first 4 weeks, I started dropping weight like crazy. In 30 days, I had dropped 30 pouns.
How much food do you eat after the surgery? Because I've seen people and they take 2 teaspoons. I'm like, I'm a foodie. Oh my God.
Girl, I'm a foodie too. I love food. It's my friend. It's my homie forever.
Food is always, I eat when I'm happy. I eat when I'm sad. I eat, period. So to me, it's like, I can't imagine only being able to eat like that much of food every day. Do you eat more than that, or do you eat more times a day?
You eat several times a day. And what you do in the beginning, those first 6 weeks, you're not really eating. You're more or less you're doing 2 weeks of liquid diet. Then you go to soft food, and then you do 2 weeks, and then you start working your way to having, you can eat food again, but you watch what you put into your intake into your body. You don't want to go and just go eat cake because you're going to get sick. Wow. For me, I started off like Gerber graduates, you know, this is how I look at it.
No,
I'm like, I'm graduating. So I started off being able to put in at least only 4 ounces of food, 4 ounces at a time. You know, I did protein shakes because I mean, I still do them now. When I want to reset everything, I have protein shakes. It'll be low carb, 160 calories, 30 grams of protein, because that's your key to this whole thing. Making sure you get your protein and you get your water. Water is incremental in this thing, and it's so hard to get it. Some people struggle with it. I was a chugger. I can't chug water like that anymore. I can't chug down. I can't even, you know, the protein shake is 11 ounces. You can't drink 11 ounces at one time. Even now, I still can't. You know, I've graduated. Now I can do 6.5 ounces of food on a feeding.
I'm going to ask you this question because if I don't, it won't be Moji, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just exercise and lose the weight? I mean,
I did everything. Oh my God. I like I said, at one point I was running and I was doing the darn thing. I got medals on 13.1. You know, I did like 9 half marathons.
Whoa.
9 half marathons. I attempted to do a full marathon. I ended up having to come in because I ended up damaging my foot during that time. But I've had so many different things. I go to the gym. I did everything. I tried everything to keep myself active. I love Zumba because I love music. I love to dance. So I was in there getting it. I'm like, oh, honey, Dad, yes, we're going to hip hop. We're going to do whatever just so we can get flying. You know, I love music. So that's what I do. And it just did not work for me.
I hear you. So now you had the surgery. It's been what, almost a year?
It's been a year. It's been a year and 2 months.
And how much have you lost so far?
I lost, coming from 318, I have lost 100. When I go from that standpoint, I'm 120 pounds less.
Wow. Yay. That's pretty good. And people think you have surgery and pretty much that's it, not realizing that you have to
I work out. I work out.
You have to maintain, because I have 2 friends actually that had the gastric bypass. And they lost like 200. One went from almost 400 pounds to 180. And then within a year, gradually, she started to gain everything back. And I'm thinking to myself, what? And that I found out from talking to her this past weekend while I was doing research. She was going through a depression because she did not in her mind see herself as thin. So she still, even though she lost all that weight, she still didn't feel thin. People tell how beautiful she felt. She looked, but she didn't believe it. So she would eat to conquer the pain or the hurt or whatever she was going through. So she had to go through therapy. Did you get any therapy?
Oh, yeah, I go to therapy now too. You know, I suffer from PTSD. You know, I'm just open book. I don't care. I just tell you.
I know. Right?
I have PTSD, and because of that, it was a check for me. They had to really make sure I was okay. Because, you know, the anxiety from that, and then, you know, from the loss of my mom and, you know, my grandmother, which were my 2 rocks, I lost both of them. So it's been, you know, that was my struggle. And those 2 things, yeah, man, I was eating. I was eating. And like I said, it's a struggle every single day. You got to get up and exercise. I mean, I have an hourglass figure, but I've always been, you know, hippie, really hippie and, you know, busty. You know, the voluptuous one. I don't want that. You know, we all say body shaming this, body that. I felt sexy even at 318 because I had the small waist and I had the big old, you know. So I was always, to me, I would look good and I didn't care what nobody said. And then one day I looked at myself in a picture and I'm like, oh, I look terrible. I don't like the way I look. So I stopped taking pictures.
I hear you. You know, I love pictures. I mean, I take pictures. I'll take pictures anywhere, anytime. And it got to a point where I just didn't feel sexy. I didn't feel beautiful. I just felt so out of place in my own body. And I realized that it's much more of a mental thing for me than anything else, because once I started to meditate and exercise, I feel amazing, you know, and uncluttering one's life also helps because sometimes we surround ourselves with things and people that just drain us. And that affects our metabolism. I don't know why the mind controls. I guess I do know why. The mind controls most of everything we do, doesn't it? So how are you feeling these days after the surgery? Like medically?
Medically, I've had a couple of hiccups since I want to say when the pandemic originally happened. I flipped out because I'm like, yo, you're messing with my workout time now, you know. But you know, at the end of the day, it's been really some really weird things. Okay, I got my corona 10 pounds came back. Oh. Then all of a sudden, I started having problems with my belly. I started having this burning sensation, and it would not stop. You know, we take medication, you know, I take my vitamins and do all the stuff that I'm supposed to, but I would have this constant burning. And all of a sudden my weight loss just stopped. There will be no more weight loss. I was like, okay, by June it was done. There was no more weight loss. So I was like, okay, what the heck is going on? You know, we have plateaus when we just don't lose weight. And then all of a sudden you just get on the scale and you're like, oh, damn, I lost 15 pounds. No, that didn't happen. So my stomach really, it was just, I have constant burning and I could not get a grip on it. I went to my doctor, then he sent me to a specialist, and then I just kept going to the specialist. And then they ended up doing a endoscopy, when they go in, they put you to sleep. I don't like that at all, but I don't like being put to sleep because I have to have conversations with the anesthesiologist from that, you know. But I went and I had that done, and they found some polyps in my belly, and I was like, okay. So they removed like 10 polyps, and I was like, okay. And they told me, well, thank God it was non-cancerous. So I was like, okay, we good, you know, we still good. So the burning stopped for just a few weeks. So I was able, you know, I was, you know, they opened the gym up so we could go to the gym, but I didn't go right away. I waited because I'm like, I'm scared, you know, corona, you know, I don't know what kind of precautions they got going on, but I need to make sure. So then I went and I started getting the little lipo, the massage therapy type things that they do.
Right.
I did some of those because, you know, I'm body conscious because, you know, I'm about the stomach thing. I can't, you know, I can't have stomach, period. That's just big, small, whatever. I can't have that. So I did some sessions of that. And she was like, you have a really great figure already. And now I can see your belly button. I said, you can see my belly button? I ain't seen her in a long time, you know, because it's an innie. I said, you see her? So I looked and I was like, oh my gosh, you really can see it. It was like the fat was just like melting away. So I got, you know, I finally got my waist.
That was melting away because of the body sculpting or because you were exercising?
I wasn't exercising at that point. I started exercising back the mid-July. And when I started, I mean, I was going every day because I'm like, when I go in, I go every day.
I'm gonna need to rewind it a little bit. So you did where does because I've you know me, I'm like a maniac when it comes to these things. I study and I do research and I go to my wife who's a doctor, you know, and say, hey, and then she'll give me her opinion and I'll still go back and do more research. I'm a Google. She laughed at me the other day. She's like, Moji has a doctorate from the school.
Exactly. I'm going to do my research.
You know, when they do the body sculpting though, where does the fat go? I mean,
that's when you drink a lot of water. You drink a lot of water because it flushes through. It flushes through.
Okay.
That's why it's very important that even with this procedure, you know, with the surgical procedure, the water is incremental to everything. Without water, as a minimum for me is 64 ounces because of my height. Okay. They base it off your height and your, you know, what you should do for your height. So for me, it's 64 ounces.
64 ounces, 8 ounces.
I can't drink it that fast.
I hear you.
So I'm sipping water all day long. Right now, I'm parched. I want to go get some water right now. But I'm holding out until I'm done talking to you because I'm like, oh, girl, I want everybody to see me trying to gulp a little water.
I hear you. That's why I keep a cup of tea or something with me at all times. Mm-hmm. I need that shot. I realize that water helps a lot.
Oh my God, it's so important. So important, Moji. It's so important.
Yeah. So if somebody is out there thinking they want to do the surgery, what are the pros and what are the cons aside of just losing weight? I mean, what's the wear and tear on your body for this?
For me, I didn't have any real wear and tear. I didn't have any pain. A lot of people complain about they have pain after surgery and they've had this and that. I didn't have any of that. There was a time where I got a little bit of nausea, but that was it. And it was just a wee bit, and they give you medication for that, and I didn't have to take any of that. There was, like I said, the only problem I had since surgery, and that happened in June, and it's been going on and on, it's ongoing. Sometimes it'll start right back up again. So I ended up having another endoscopy. So it's just like, here we go again. But other than that, I can, if you wanted the wear and tears and what you take from it, it's really not that bad. For me, it's been excellent because I wouldn't trade the little bit of burning I have is nothing compared to 120 pounds, baby.
Okay. So what's your ideal weight for you? Because see, one of my biggest issues with excess, for me personally, not for anybody else, is that once I start, because I have an obsessive personality, I wouldn't know where to stop. So one of the things that I have always tried to do is go the natural route first. Actually go the natural route, because a lot of my friends are having, collagen and tummy talks and this talks, and I'm thinking,
I'm keeping what I got.
I can do that too. But then I realized, wait, I'm 56 years old, and I still carry my own. And if it's about the way I feel inside,
that's right.
That has a lot to do with it. So I never tell anybody what to do with their bodies or their looks or their hair. People try to shame me all the time because I wear a wig. And I'm like, honey, I make my own wigs. I can do whatever I want. It's my hair. I can
do what I want to do with my hair. Exactly.
So as far as I'm concerned, if people are happy with their weight, if you're happy with your body, shuku to you. And it's not everybody that can afford to do this, to do the surgery that you did anyways, because everybody doesn't have the proper, the kind of insurance that you have that paid for it. And a lot of us don't have the courage. I don't have the courage to go under the knife. I'm sorry. That's the truth. But if I could do this and everything would be done, honey, I'll be
right there.
But where are you going to stop? Because one of the things that I'm very afraid of, like I said, because I have I hate to use the word addictive personality, because I get obsessive is the word, I'm not a perfectionist, but once I put my mind to something, I learn, I have to finish it, So where are you going to stop? Because you did the bypass surgery, right?
No, I did the sleeve.
You did the sleeve surgery, and you've been doing the sculpting. And when is enough going to be enough? I'm sorry, I have to ask this question.
For me, I want to get down to at least 160 pounds.
And how tall are you?
I am almost 5'8". I'm 5'7.5".
I'm 5'7", and I want to be. I think I said yesterday was 160 because now I'm 177. So now it's only like when I was at 189, I just wanted to be 175. Now that I'm 177, now I moved the bar to 160. But I'm thinking to myself, at 56, if I lose too much weight, I'm just going to look like a haggard old woman.
Or old bone. That's what I feel like. I'm a hanging old bone. I don't want to be a whole bone.
Exactly. As African-American women, we need, I need my curves. I need the waistline.
I need the hairline. Exactly. I don't want to be looking at you going, dang.
And I don't want to be cold, because the thinner you are, the colder the world.
The colder it is. I'm freezing.
I know, right?
Oh my God. I am freezing.
So if somebody's out there and you want, for me, one thing I always say is be happy with your body. Whatever makes you happy is what you have to do. And one of the things I tell my friends is when they tell me, oh, I'm having a tummy talk, I'm like, are you willing to die for the tummy talk? You know what I mean? Because I used to, I have 4 kids. So anybody that doesn't like my tummy, too bad. It's just the way I feel about it. I'm comfortable with it. I'm happy with it. If you're not happy with it, shuku to you. But me, for now, this is what I'm okay with. I don't knock surgery. I don't knock anybody doing whatever they fancy with their bodies. I just say do research like you did, and make sure you're going to see a certified surgeon and not because the price.
Bariatric surgeon, not the
Not a dentist.
No. Bariatric surgeon, certified, really someone that really knows exactly what you're talking about. No.
I hear you. Thank you so much.
Life is important.
So if you have any warnings for anybody about this process or procedure, what would it be?
Do your research first and make sure that this is something that you can do, and make sure that you do a complete mental eval, because if you can't, because you won't be able to eat certain stuff, not right away. And if you can't do it, you're going to end up hurting yourself and vomiting, because that could happen to you during this. So you have to be careful of what you do and not to overdo yourself.
Yeah, I hear you. Well, normally I do 45 minutes to an hour, but there's really not much to talk about here, unless you want to tell us how it has affected your sense of self. You know, you lost weight, and how good do you does it make you feel better? Are you still the same person?
I think I'm still me. I think I'm a little bit, I've always had a little vanity, just a little bit. But overall, I think I'm myself. I have not changed in that way. I feel like I still could be better. Life is always an improvement. There's always something that you feel like is not right for yourself, but it's all about self-esteem and your self-awareness of who you are and what you want and willing to do to get where you want to be. And for me, like I said, I need to drop at least another 35, 40 pounds. I'll feel better about myself. I
hear you. So you drop 35 to 40 pounds, you'll feel much better about yourself. What if you don't drop the 35?
If I don't, I'm still happy with where I'm at, because I'm not where I once was, and I'm going to be conscious to never go back to where I was, because 318 pounds, I was miserable. You couldn't tell it by looking at me in a photo. You couldn't tell it by. I was miserable. I was not happy with myself. I felt like, who would want me now? Look at me now. I'm an old woman. At that point I turned 50 years old, and look at me. I look terrible. And this is the way I felt, not what other people felt. Right. You look beautiful. There's nothing wrong with you. I don't feel like you need to lose that weight. Who are you looking at? It's about what I feel, and I can care.
I mean, exactly. There's a rapper called Jeezy or Weezy. While I was doing research for this show, I ran into videos of her in sexy outfits, bustiers and corsets. I'm like, child, I wouldn't put that on. But she looks amazing. Her body is firm. And
I would put that on too. Even as a bigger girl, I would wear that, because I felt like I had the figure that I could wear that. But I don't, at this point now, it's all about, I'm a woman of a particular age now. I turned 50, and I'm 51 at this day right now, and I don't want to have myself looking like
it's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I like my curves. I have photos where you can see what I look like now. I love my body, but I have to be comfortable with being the smaller size than being my heaviest person. The heaviest me is like, whoa, I was really that big. I saw my face. I'm like, it's all about your self-esteem and how you feel. It's not about what someone else thinks about you. Oh, you shouldn't do that. I had people telling me, oh, don't do this to yourself. You can do this naturally. Yeah, I did do it naturally. Guess what? And it's still hard work now. It's just as hard. It's even harder doing this thing than doing it the natural way, because you got to go through body changes and different things that you did not have before. So it's a whole different process.
One of my reasons for actually losing weight is my back hurt, but more so I have an incredible wardrobe. And if I had to go start all over, because I'm 56, I have an amazing collection in my wardrobe that is a particular size. And if I have to start all over to collect all those, some of the designers are dead. I mean, some of those pieces are antique. I wear them. So I'm like, look, honey, it's time to get back. Time to get back in shape. But again, I have to keep repeating, this is not about body shaming a person. This is not about telling big people that they're not okay. As long as you're happy and comfortable in your skin, it does not matter. Sexy is a state of mind. It's not your body form. Healthy is not your body weight. Healthy is, you exercising and eating right if that's what you want. You know, it's pretty much authentic living is about what you want and what the price that you're willing to pay for it. Because I have people that eat bonbons and hamburgers and, you know, Cheerios or whatever all day, and they don't do much in life. They don't go out. They can't, I mean, you can't even, I have a friend that has to buy 2 plane tickets, but she's happy with her life. And thank God she can afford it, you know?
Yeah.
Buy 2 plane tickets to be able to fit in 1 seat. She can afford it. And she's very proud. She's one of the most fabulous friends I have. Very happy, high-flying corporate woman. But society has a way of telling us, even when you go for a job interview as a big person, you don't get the same response as a thin person, because society automatically assumes that you're not well when you're big, and that's not true.
That's not true.
One of the reasons why, again, we do these shows is to bring different perspectives to the table. I am so grateful for you joining us this morning. I hope we get to bring you back to talk about another conversation that I want to talk about. I'll let you know in the background. You know, a lot of women are beating up their husband's side chicks or their wife's child side chicks and all that stuff.
Oh my God. I've been there, done that. Yeah, you know, I've been on that life too. That's my other life.
I'm trying to find a panel of women that'll come and talk about this. My father had 12 wives, and I'm telling you, it was never my thing. You don't have any, for me, I don't have any beef with anybody's side chick. It's with the person that you're married to that says I do. The side chick didn't say.
That's the person that you're supposed to have that problem with. Exactly.
So we need to come back anyways on another day and have this conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. And I wish you the best of luck into attaining your ideal weight for yourself, but more so keeping spiritually, emotionally, physically, and mentally centered. I believe is the key to having to having a good, happy life. For me, I don't know what works for other people, but for me, that's what makes me happy. Is when I feel, So thank you so much. I'm going to take you off the back end, and then I'll talk to the people a little bit. Anybody have any questions for Janet? Please ask before she goes away. Can I ask a question? Miriam says, yes, you can ask a question, Miriam. How has this helped sexually? All righty then.
Okay, well, sexually, there is no problem there, girl. At first, I was a little nervous, but it was good. It's actually better.
Why is it better?
I find myself a little bit more limber.
Bingo. I knew that's what you were going to say. Because I'm so grateful for you too. Thank you. Very, very truthful. For me, one of the biggest issues is once you don't have that, when you're bigger, there's so much you can't do, right? There's so many positions you can't get into in real life. Even doing dishes, sometimes it's a hard time for me. I have to lean over the stove, the sink, and do the dishes, let alone being in the bedroom. So you're saying when you lost 120 pounds, you became a lot more limber. Any other questions on the thread? Let's see. Good morning, Thomas.
Hi, Thomas.
She said, sleep can also be a factor of weight gain. Yeah, I read that online.
It is. You got to get your rest. It's important to sleep and get your rest with this, especially after that. I get my sleep. I'm into that. I'm into sleep. Taking care. I got to preserve this.
I hear you. Let's see. Any questions here? No other questions. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. And this has been a learning experience. And we'll talk on the back end about the side chick beating people. And we'll come up with a date, and I'll have a panel of women to converse with. All right.
Oh, yeah, we're going to do that. No problem. Definitely. All right, love. Take care. Bye.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for joining us. I don't know who's on here. I know Thomas is here, Miriam is here, and I don't